Shalom, shalom, everybody. I just wanted you guys to check this out real quick. I just was reading in Romans chapter 11, and we talk about Romans a lot, and I wanted to read this to you and break it down a little bit for you so that you guys can get a better understanding of what the Apostle Paul is talking about in this chapter of Romans. My name is Yochanan Moray. I'm a scholar of the Bible and an avid reader, and I just wanted to break this down for you guys. Let's start here in Romans chapter 11, verse 11. Romans 11:11. I say then, have they stumbled that they should fall? God forbid. Now, Paul is talking about the Hebrews. So I'm going to reread this, and I'm going to put the Hebrews in there where they belong, okay? So Romans 11:11. I say then, have the Hebrews stumbled that they should fall? And by fall, he means, are we at a point where Yah is just throwing us away for another people? Are we so far beyond redemption that Yah had just forgotten about us in lieu of somebody else? He says, God forbid. But rather, through the fall of the Hebrews, salvation is come unto the Gentiles. And this word Gentiles is ethnos, or ethnos, which is the ethnicities or the heathen. Not Israelites that were called Gentiles. These Gentiles that it's talking about in this verse are actual Gentiles. It says, to provoke them to jealousy, to provoke Israel to jealousy. Now, if the fall of them being the Hebrews, be the riches of the world or the cosmos, and the diminishing of the Hebrews, the riches of the heathen, the Gentiles, how much more Israel's fullness? So if I bring Israel down real low and it gives the Gentiles, the heathens, this opportunity and they take advantage of it and they get blessed, how much more will the Gentiles and the rest of the world be blessed if I elevate Israel back up to where they're supposed to be? Verse 13. For I speak to you heathens, you Gentiles, inasmuch as I am the apostle of the Gentiles, I magnify mine office. If by any means I may provoke to emulation the Hebrews, which are my flesh, or the people which are my flesh, meaning Paul saying what? I am sure that giving this blessing to you heathens is going to cause all of the Hebrews to be jealous, and it's going to encourage them to emulate or to mock or copy what you Gentiles, because the Hebrews have always wanted to be like the Gentiles. What do you think is going to happen when we let these Gentiles take the covenant? Israel is going to eventually mimic or emulate these Gentiles and try to claim the covenant. And in essence, we're going to be reclaiming that which we didn't want in the first place. So he says, if by any means, in verse 14, I may provoke to emulation them which are my flesh, and might save some of them. For if the casting away of them be the reconciling of the world, what shall the receiving of them be but life from the dead? So if Yah casts Israel away to reconcile all these heathens in the world, then how much more shall the receiving of these Hebrews be but life from death? For if the first fruit be holy, if Israel is holy, the lump is also holy. If Israel is holy, then the rest of the world will also. See, this is classic Deuteronomy chapter 7, verse 6. Let's go there real quick. Deuteronomy chapter 7, verse 6. And he says, "For thou art an holy people unto the Lord thy God. The Lord thy God hath chosen thee to be a special people unto himself, above all people that are upon the face of the earth." Okay? One more verse before we go back. This is Genesis chapter 12, verses 1 through 3. "Now the Lord hath said unto Abram, Get thee out of thy country, and from thy kindred, and from thy father's house, unto a land that I will show thee. And I will make thee a great nation, and I will bless thee, and make thy name great, and thou shalt be a blessing. And I will bless them that bless thee, and curse them that curseth thee. And in thee shall all the families of the earth be blessed." So from here, we're going to go back to Romans chapter 11, because that is just proof of what he's saying here in verse 16. "For if the first fruit be holy, the lump is also holy. And if the root be holy, so are the branches. And if some of the branches be broken off, and thou, the Gentiles, be a wild olive tree, wert graft in among them, and with them partakest of the root and fatness of the olive tree." He's saying, if Yah lets you Gentiles into this covenant or into this blessing that he had in store for the Hebrews, his chosen people, he says, don't be boastful. Boast not against the branches. Don't boast against the Hebrews. But if thou boast, and he's saying, and know this, that if you are going to boast, that you're boasting, you didn't bear the root. The root has borne you. Thou bearest not the root, but the root thee. You didn't save them. You haven't done anything to them. They have given you what it is that you think you can boast about. "Thou wilt say then," in verse 19, "The branches were broken off that I might be grafted in." Well, because of unbelief, they were broken off, and thou standest by faith. Meaning you Gentiles are here because you have faith. We didn't have faith. The Hebrews didn't have faith. So you Gentiles are here only because of faith. So be not high-minded, because you can't boast. Don't be high-minded. Don't think better of yourself because you have been given this opportunity that the Hebrews haven't taken advantage of. But fear, meaning, but be respectful and be observant and be sober-minded. "For if God spared not the natural branches," because if God punished them Hebrews for being haughty and disrespectful and disobedient, "take heed lest he also spare not thee." Boy, that is a strict warning on these Gentiles. "Behold, therefore, the goodness and severity of God on them which fell," the Hebrews, severity, "but toward thee, you Gentiles, who had no possession or no claim to the possession at all, goodness, if thou continue in his goodness. Otherwise thou also shalt be cut off." That's what Yehoshua told that woman. He says, "It is not meet for me to take the children's bread and give it to dogs." And she goes, "Well, aren't the dogs able to eat up the crumbs that fall from the children's table?" And then the Bible says, because you say this, because you know your place, you Canaanite or Syro-Phoenician Canaanite lady, because you understand your place and you're not being boastful and you are not high-minded and you fear, only because you are like that, I'm going to grant you what it is you're seeking. This is exactly what Yeshua and the Apostle Paul were talking about. This is a 10-minute clip, guys. So I appreciate you for listening. Like and subscribe. Text me if you have questions. Leave a comment. Shalom, shalom.